We'll get back into that in just a bit. But first, let's go out to the Toyota of Hollywood guest line. Shop over 1,500 Toyotas indoors and one of America's largest showrooms at Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood and Sheridan. And the great Red Deer, Randy Moller, joining us there. Panthers analyst for Bally Sports Florida. Randy, thanks for the time. Really appreciate it.
Hey, guys. How are you? How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's all fired up. Yeah, big sports night here in South Florida, and that with the Panthers, their home opener, and the Heat. Good luck to the Heat as well. Looks like they're going to have a very, very competitive team.
Randy, you've done so much work for this franchise for a long time, getting the buzz, the word out for the Panthers, but putting this many years consistently winning together, like for you, are you starting to feel the buzz for this team with the fan base down here in South Florida? Because you always want to like put in those years of winning that always brings the people. I know for me personally, I'm taking my kids next week to their first one of the season. My daughter has not shut up about it. She can't wait. But have you noticed that, Randy? Like the years of consistent winning now, back to back to back, has really, breathed life into a sustainable fan base down here.
Yeah, Brendan, it's not only just the wins and the success that the Panthers have had on the ice. It's the way that the style of play that they play, where it's always attacking, creating the offense. You go back to last year, especially. The Panthers scored the most goals in the NHL in 25 years. And, they had 9 players that had career offensive years. So a lot of excitement. They've got the puck a lot more than they used to years ago. And when they have that puck, it's a 5-man attack. And that makes it for really exciting. So the long-winded answer to your question is, yeah, the fans have really gravitated to the style of play and the success that they've had on the ice. And that makes it for a great entertainment. But you set the expectations pretty high when you come to a Panther game. I mean, last year, they only lost 6 home games in the regular season on home ice. The fans expect A, that they're going to win, and B, they're going to fill the net with goals, which last year they scored over 5 goals average per game on home ice.
And the thing too is that's interesting is, they make the big trade this year, and they've put this idea that they got to change their style a little bit to just be more sustainable in the playoffs. How much are you seeing that, Randy, in the preseason, in the lead up the first couple of games? Do you notice it already? Do you think this is a work in progress that Paul Maurice is putting together? Or do you still think this is going to be a team from time to time we're still going to see that firepower that, can never be out of it because they could be down 3 goals and still come back and win 6-4?
Yeah, no, I mean this team's never going to give up its identity of the on the offensive side, the flair that they have, and they've got so many offensive players, and if they're playing up to their capabilities, they're gonna have a lot of success. Through the first 3 games of the season, they have continued to generate scoring chances off the rush. But your question was, is there a little bit of a style change as far as yes. Paul Maurice has talked about that, and the players have mentioned it a number of times as well, that they're a little bit more, awareness of when they don't have the puck and what it's going to take. Paul Maurice has talked endlessly about trying to use this regular season as a build-up to the playoffs, and in order to have success in the playoffs, as we've seen with the Panthers last year, you've got to do certain things, small details without the puck, and that's on the defensive side. We've seen that. Goldie and I have talked about that on the broadcast. I pointed it out a few times. A little bit more awareness. Maybe if there's a 50-50 chance that the Panthers are going to get the puck in their own zone after a battle, instead of the other 2 and maybe a defenseman blowing out of the zone, expecting a transition and then attacking, they're holding off. A little bit more patience. I think their system, not to get too technical, but they're keeping the opposition to the outside as much as possible. Don't let them into the inside. What we talk about, those great shooting angles and that. We've seen that, and that's how you win in the playoffs, because the game changes dramatically from regular season to playoffs. It's much more tighter. There's much more battles for the puck, and that Panthers are using this regular season to try and emulate some of the great teams that have won the Stanley Cups over the last couple of years.
Yeah, Matthew Tkachuk was talking about this. I think it was after the second win that they had, when he was saying, look, you got to be more like Tampa. Tampa was this team that was very much run and gun, and then they had to become more gritty, hard to play. He definitely seems early on, Randy, like he is bringing that. I can see why people call him an agitator. He seems to be in the midst of everything, but also just has the skill to bring it. What do you think personally, the first few games of watching him, what have you noticed that Matthew Tkachuk is bringing to this Panthers team, maybe attitude wise, and just how is he molding with Barkov and the rest of the guys on this team?
He has been everything as advertised. He's a unicorn, Brendan, in the sense that there's not many players in the NHL that have the size, the skill, the soft hands, and a pure power forward that can deliver. And with that physicality, we've seen it all 3 games. He's got the opposition, gets underneath their skin, gets them off their game. He drives to the net. He's got to lead the league in punching guys in the head so far this season in the first 3 games, and that the fans are going to love him. He brings it every game, every shift. Yeah, is he going to take the odd bad penalty? Is he, with his aggressiveness and the way the style that he plays, that's going to happen. But you can't duplicate the enthusiasm and the desire and the determination when he steps onto that ice. And he is a big part of this team now, and he has changed the identity even through the first 3 games of the regular season.
What's it like, Randy, for the idea of a guy you rely upon being one of your best players in Matthew Tkachuk always being willing to fight and kind of get into it, as opposed to the enforcers on this team, the Lombergs, the Radko Gudises, who will be like, they're there to fight. That's what they do, but they're not necessarily your best players. And now to have Matthew here, who is like, yes, he will fight, and also he's going to do everything else for you.
Yeah, it takes it takes an army, and you can't just have one guy that plays a physical style, whether you're talking about Gudis or Ryan Lomberg or that on a nightly basis. You want the whole team to play as that type of identity, and I think it's been infectious. I think players now, they see, especially the young players, they see a Matthew Tkachuk, the way he plays and the desire and the physicality, and I think it's rubbing off on a lot of players. They say, hey, if he can do it on a night in, shift out basis, then there's no reason why I can't do it. The Panthers want to be tougher to play against. They were a high-octane running gun during the regular season last year, filled the net with goals, all the wins, the 29 comebacks, all that. But what did it get them in the playoffs in the second round against Tampa Bay? Tampa just ground them right into. They won every puck battle. They were more desperate to make the little plays, and that the Panthers learned from that. And I think that was the main reason they went out and got a Matthew Tkachuk. They got to change the way they play. Hey, the Panthers haven't been able to get past Tampa Bay for the last 2 years. Something's got to change. And this is the change. And, hey, they gave up a lot in Huberdeau and Weegar and a first-round pick and a top prospect. But they feel that Tkachuk is going to be a difference maker once the games really become important.
It's a monster week for the Panthers. You got Flyers home opener tonight. That's going to be on national television. Bally will get going on Friday as you got the Lightning and the Panthers. Randy, how much do you think it's just regular season, but do you think that Friday night matchup against Tampa, how much does that matter? Like the idea, okay, we're going to make that impression known right off the bat that we are a different team, even though, they kind of humiliated us in the playoffs last year.
Oh, it matters. It matters. These two teams do not like each other all the way up and down the organization. Now, the Panthers have a lot of respect, and so do I, for the Tampa Bay Lightning. They've been the model of excellence over the last number of years, the way they built, the way they play the game, and when the games count. But there's no love lost between these two teams. Oh, we're going to see some fur flying out there. It's going to be physical. There's going to be a lot of emotional moments. It could be a little chippy in that, but that's what makes it so entertaining, because these two teams, they won't back down. And I'm just glad I'm not on the ice, because there wouldn't be enough ice packs for my sore body after a game like that. But no, it's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of emotion, and it's great. It's great for the game. I mean, there was a lot of years where the Panthers, it was tough to have a rivalry, Brendan, because the Panthers were struggling and Tampa Bay was so far better than they were at skill level, and now they're right there. They're neck and neck, and each and every game can go either way or whatever. I think it's great for the sport, and especially for the sport of hockey in the state of Florida.
No, it has to be. It's just like you have this now history brewing between them, and obviously they're getting the better end of it. But how much it's going to mean to the Panthers and their fans if when they ever get over Tampa, you're never going to forget that series because you know what a Goliath they've been. And
no doubt, and no doubt. And then you add in the atmosphere. Not to get ahead of the tonight's opener against the Flyers, but Friday night, Brendan, you've been to games or whatever, and all of a sudden the fans get into it, and then they, after a few drinks, they get some courage or whatever, they get a little bit more vocal to each other, and that it makes it for a great atmosphere. I wish we were broadcasting that game as well. Like tonight's game is the national broadcast on TNT, so Goldie and I are not working on volleys. And same thing with Friday; it's on ESPN Plus. So these first two home games, so I've got to control myself, Brendan. I got to stay.
Do you go fan mode, Randy? What do you do on nights like that?
You know what? I don't trust myself. I've got to stay up for the most part, up in the press box or whatever like that, because if I get down there in the stands or in and around the fans or whatever like that, I don't trust myself if somebody says a snide remark to me or one of the Panther fans or whatever. So I should just keep my mouth shut, just stay out of harm's way and enjoy the game. But oh no, I'm going to be rooting and I'll be emotional as well. You can't. It's a game of emotion and it's a game of skill and then discipline at certain times or whatever. And that's I'll be exhausted even if I'm not even broadcasting.
Before we get you out of here, Randy, some stuff circulating on social media now that Aaron Ekblad going to be out for a little bit with a lower body injury. Do you have an idea of timeline? And even if that's a little bit fuzzy right now, what are they going to be missing with Aaron out, who's obviously had some injury trouble in the past?
Yeah, that's not a positive for the Panthers. Everybody knows Aaron Ekblad. He leads the team on a nightly basis in ice time. He's a minute muncher out there, and he plays all situations and that. You can't replace an Aaron Ekblad, and that's unfortunate. I'm just hearing as well, Brendan, that he could be out of more than just a couple games. I don't want to say how long. I really don't know, but and then Brandon Montour as well. Another smooth skating, puck handling defenseman. Doesn't look like he's going to play tonight. So the Panthers, they've called up Lucas Carlson and Matt Kierstad, and one of those I know for sure will be playing, but there's a good chance Panthers could go with 5 defense again tonight. It's not to get technical for your average sports fans, but the game of hockey in the NHL, it's a lot like the other sports that have salary caps, and that the Panthers are right up against the cap, and you got to do a little bit of tap dancing. And a lot of teams have had to do that. And so we'll wait and see. But the long-winded answer, the Panthers, that's not a positive to have Aaron Ekblad out. Everybody knows what he has brought and keeps bringing to the team. He's such an important, but it's an opportunity as well for some of these other defensemen to step up and show what they can do in the absence of Aaron Ekblad. There's going to be a lot of ice time up for grabs there, especially starting tonight and on Friday.
Randy, we appreciate the time. Look, if a Lightning fan gets out of line, you got to do what you got to do. I'll try and be there for you, man.
Oh, I know, Brandon. I know you always got my back or whatever. And that my motto is hit and then run. Thanks for having me on, guys.
There you go. Check out Randy Moller all season long with Steve Goldstein. Do a fantastic job. And look, Panthers getting a little national TV love the next couple nights, so Randy gets to enjoy that as a fan. But Valley Sports Florida, you can always catch them and the great job that they all do over there. The whole crew over there at Valley Sports Florida